Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today is Saturday. It is 19th of July. The Shravana Masa, Shridhara Masa, Krishna Paksham, Navami Tithi. So there is one Vaishnava event today. So today is the most important day in our society, the anniversary of ISKCON's incorporation by so Giriraj Swami has described this one. So Prabhupada has incorporated ISKCON since 1966. So we shall read a few lines from that point of view. It is a matchless gift. So it perfectly suits. Okay, so as Meena Mataji has swapped her dates, reading dates from Sunday to Thursday. So Mataji would not be available on Sunday. So can I request Meena Mataji to read this one? Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You want me to read this one? Okay.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay, thank you. Srila Prabhupada incorporated ISKCON on July 13, 1966 in New York City, which correspond to today on the Vaishnava calendar. The following conversations indicated some of the significance of Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON. Bhavananda in Swarup Gurj. There is one big astrologer, so he saw your photograph and he said, this is the face of the most powerful spiritual personality on the planet. Prabhupada laughed. Hare Krishna. Brahmananda, then what else? Brahmananda, then he said that I can tell from his face that he can make a house in which the whole world can live peacefully. Devotees, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, at least I desire so. Morning Walk, July 1st, 1975, Denver. Here are some expert from the Certificate of Incorporation of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, INC, pursuant into the Religious Cooperation Law on the State of New York. We then undesigned for the purpose of forming a corporation pursuant to the Religious Cooperation Law of the State of New York, do hereby make, subscribe and acknowledge this certified as follow. First, the name of the corporation shall be International Society for Krishna Consciousness, INC. Second, the purpose for which the corporation is organized are A. The systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and in the educated all people in the technicians of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. B. The propagate consciousness of Krishna as it is revealed in his Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. see to bring the member of the society together with each other and nearly to Krishna, her the prime entity, and thus to devotee the idea within the members and humanity at large that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead Krishna, to teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregations chanting of the holy name of God as revealed in the teaching of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to, to erect for the member and for society at large a holy place of transcendental pastime dedicated to the personality of Krishna, to bring the member closer together to the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of life, with a view towards uh, of achieving the aforementioned purpose, to publish and distribute periodically magazines, books, and other writings, in witness whereof we have made, subscribed, and acknowledged this certified certificate of incorporation this 13th day of July 1966. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Coral Becker, Raymond Marish.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai.
Jaya. Thank you so much, Mataji. This is ISKCON is a matchless gift to this entire world. Thank you so much, Mataji. It's a perfectly suited. So it is everything is by Daivana, Karamana Daivanetrena. Everything is by the divine arrangement. Thank you so much, Mataji. So today is the incorporation of the ISKCON in New York.
So Prabhupada, this is like he got the certificate of all this.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. So that is from the event's perspective. So we shall quickly move into our daily Srimad Bhagavatam. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय हरे कृष्ण in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, so their conversations are happening. So meanwhile, when Sukadev Goswami stopped about the conversations between Uddhava and Vidura, so Sukadev Goswami has mentioned that so Uddhava and Vidura, they have both gone. So Uddhava has gone to Badrikashrama. Later on, Vidura has gone to meet Maitreya Rishi. So after saying that, King Parikshit, he was a bit inquisitive, and he was asking the Sukadeva Goswami that while all the Vrishni dynasty and Bhodya dynasty, everyone are killed, and how come Uddhava was only remained? Even though Supreme Personality of Godhead, even he left to his abode. Why Uddhava was left? Nidanam upagateshu Vrishni bhojeshu अतिरथ युवतपेषु मुख्यः ततु कथम् अवशिष्टः मुद्धो यद्हरिः अपि तत्यज आकृतिं तृदीशः. So how can Buddha only remain here, even though Lord Hari api tatyaja akritim tradishaha, even the Supreme Personality of Godhead went back to his abode. So Satu custom avasistaha is the remained. How come Buddha was remained? So Parikshit inquired. So, in order to answer to that question, Sukadeva Goswami is further started describing, saying that it is the curse of the Brahmanas, whatever has happened, it is just only outside cause that we could see. But actually, it is the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And his family is expanded in such a way, it is very difficult to annihilate. So it is not possible even for the demigods to defeat that Yadu family. So when he was about to leave his body, he was contemplating how to reduce the burden of the evil family also. So likewise, Sukadeva Goswami started speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. We are in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 4, verse number 29. Shri Sukha Uvacha Brahmashapa Apadeshena Kalena Amogavanchitah Samhrutya Swakulum Spitam Jakshan Deham Achintayat Brahmashapa Apadesena. Brahmashapa. So Sukadeva Goswami is saying Brahmashapa is the cursing by the Brahmanas. So when the Krishna's children in a playful mode, so they have dressed Samba as a woman, and then they went in front of the Brahmanas and saying that they were asking for whether this girl, this woman is going to give birth to the child, whether male, either boy or girl. Likewise, they were asking if the Brahmana says either boy or girl, both become false. So in such a way, children were doing some kind of the fun with the Brahmanas. So at the time, Brahmanas are cursed then. Brahmashapa. This is Brahmashapa Apadeshena. So Apadeshena is the on the plea by such a show. It is only outside cause. Apadeshena is the outside cause. That is what is happening. But actually, that is also happening Kalena by the eternal time. Kalena. This is Brahmashapa Apadeshena Kalena. Amogha Vanchitaha. Amogha is the unfailing and Vanchitaha, one who desires. This is the Amogha Vanchitaha is the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that is happening through the curse of the Brahmanas. And also there are different reasons as well. Again, Gandhari also cursed Krishna. So during that time when Krishna was consoling, trying to pacify everyone else, at that time also, Gandhari has cursed Krishna. But that is also one of the outside cause. Okay, there are a few other reasons as well. But here in this situation, so Sukadeva Goswami is describing that. This is Brahmashapa Apadeshena Kalena Amogha Vanchitaha. It is the desire of the Lord. Samhrutya Swakulam Spitam. Samhrutya Swakulam Spitam. And in order to wind up Samhrutya or closing Swakulam, his own family, Spitam, which is excessively numerous. So Krishna has got 16,108 wives, and in each and every wife, there are 10 children and one daughter. And then each child is again married. Likewise, 16,108 into multiplies by 10. If you just approximately that many, at least 160,000 plus. And then the children get married and they give birth to other children as well. And then it spreads millions of children. So likewise, there we could see Pradyumna, Krishna's child, Pradyumna's child is Aniruddha. Again, Aniruddha's child is Vajranabha. So this is, of course, Vajranabha was left later on. He was a child during that time. Okay, so he was with his mother. So here, Samudya Swakulam Spitam. So it is Krishna's family is excessively numerous. Chakshan Deham Achintayat. Chakshan is after giving up Deham, the universal form, Achintayat, thought to himself. So Chakshan Deham, it is Krishna's body is the Satchidananda. So it is not possible for Krishna to give up his own body. So there is no difference between his name, form, qualities, and his spiritual body or material. He is only one. But here, Chakshan Deham, it is meant for the universal form. When previously Krishna also showed to Arjuna as well, that is also material form. But Krishna actually, he has got a spiritual form. Achintayat and thought to himself. So this particular one, Chakshan Deham, Suta Goswami described in Srimad Bhagavatam, Edadrupam Bhagavatohi Arupachitiratmanaha Maya Guner Virichitam Mahadad Viratmani. This is Maya Guner Virichitam Mahad Adi Viratmani. Likewise, he mentioned, but actually later on he described that Krishna's body is the eternal. Lord has got a eternal body. So that one has come in the summary of entire Srimad Bhagavatam as it is embedded in the third chapter of first canto. Okay, so here Sukadeva Goswami is saying that Chakchandeham Achintayat. So the Lord thought to himself, Brahmashap apadeshena kalen amoga vanchitaha samhritya swakulam spitam Chakchandeham Achintayat. The translation for this shloka. Sukadeva Goswami replied, My dear king, the cursing of the Brahmanas was only a plea, but the actual fact was the supreme desire of the Lord. He wanted to disappear from the face of the earth after dispatching his excessively numerous family members. He thought to himself as follows. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya. Can I request Sanchita Mataji to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In this verse, the word Tyakshan is very significant in relation to the Lord Shri Krishna's leaving his body. Since he is the eternal form of existence, knowledge and bliss, his body and his self are identical. Therefore, how is it possible that he would leave his body and then disappear from the vision of the world? There is a great controversy amongst the non-devotee or Mayavadis about the mysterious disappearance of the Lord, and the doubts of those men with poor fund of knowledge have been very elaborately cleared by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha. According to the Brahma Samhita, the Lord has many forms. It is stated therein that the Lord has innumerable forms, and when it appears within the vision of the living entities as Lord Krishna actually appears, all such forms amalgamate with him. Beside all these infallible forms, he has his universal form as manifested before Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Here in this verse, the word Sphitam is also used, which indicates that he left his gigantic universal form called the Virata Rupa, not his primeval eternal form, because there is hardly any possibility of his changing his form of Satchidananda. This simple understanding is at once realized by the devotees of the Lord. But those who are non devotees, who perform hardly any devotional service to the Lord, either do not understand the simple fact or purposely raise a controversy to defeat the eternity of the transcendental body of the Lord. This is due to the defect called the cheating propensity of the imperfect living entities. By practical experience, also, it is seen up to the present day that Lord's transcendental form is worshipped by the devotees in different temples, and all the devotees of the Lord factually realize that the form of the deity in the temple is not different from the form of the Lord. This inconceivable performance of the internal potency of the Lord is described in Bhagavad Gita 7.25. Naham prakasah sarvasya yoga maya samarvatah. The Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. In the Padma Purana, it is said that Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahyam indriyaha. The name and the form of the Lord cannot be perceived by the material senses, but when he appears within the vision of the mundane people, he assumes the form of the Virata Rupa. This is an additional material exhibition of form and is supported by logic of the subject exhibition of the form and is supported by the logic of a subject and its adjectives. In grammar, when an adjective is taken away from the subject it modifies does not change. Similarly, when the Lord quits his Virata Rupa, his eternal form does not change, although there is no material difference between himself and any one of his innumerable forms. In the fifth canto, it is seen how the Lord is worshipped in different planets in his different forms, even now, and how he is worshipped in different temples of this earth also. Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur have very elaborately explained this incident of the Lord's disappearance in their commentaries, quoting various authentic versions of the Vedic literature. He purposely does not include them all here to avoid an increase in the volume of this book. The entire matter is explained in Bhagavad Gita as quoted above. The Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. He always keeps himself out of the vision of the non-devotees who are devoid of love and devotion, and thus he puts them still further away from the Lord. The Lord appeared on the invitation of Brahma, who prayed before the Shiradaksha Vishnu, and therefore, when the Lord appeared, all the forms of Vishnu amalgamated with him, and when the mission was fulfilled, all of them disintegrated from him in the usual course. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jaya. Thank you, Mataji. So this is a bit more detailed purport, and because the few words, the keywords he is used, Tyakshan Deham Achintayat. So Tyakshan Deham, generally, as soon as anyone reads who are not the devotees, immediately they will imagine or assume that to the material forms. So that is what the experience of this material world. So there, Tijyak Nagad Vijay Deva Sarisrupa Deva Daitya Parichitam Parichitam Sad Asad Vishesham Marchad. So Dhruv Maharaj, he mentions in his prayers that Tiryak Nagad Vijay Sarisrupa Deva Daitya Marchadebihi Parichitam Sad Asad Vishesham. So, oh my dear Lord, I know the experience of all these forms, and I may think Asad Vishesham both, and also the living entities out of these 14 planetary systems. So, Dhruv Maharaja was mentioning in his prayers. So, with his intelligence, because he was touched by the conch shell of the Lord, when he was Baddhanjalim, um, uh, when he was just keeping his folded hands and he doesn't know how to pray, then Brahmamayena Kampuna, and the Lord has touched the conch shell on top of his head. Then the knowledge has been revealed to him. So, and then he started glorifying that, and then immediately he got the knowledge of entire uh, of this transcendental knowledge. So, with that knowledge, he was praying. Tiryak naga dvija sari srupa deva daitya marchadibhi parichitam sad asad vishesham rupam stavistam adite mahadadhanekam natah param paramavedhina yatra vadaha. So now I understand that your form is not belongs to this material form. I can confirm this. Natah Natah param naitra vadaha. Again, he mentions there is no more further discussions about this, the form. I definitely confirm that this is the spiritual form. Brahma in his prayers. So he mentions that Jnatosi Medjasuchira Nanadeha Bhajam Nadhnaito Bhagavato Katridhvajam Nanyatwadisti Bhagavanepi Tanna Shuddham Maya Gunavitikirad Yad Guru Vibhasi Maya Gunavitikirad Yad Guru Vibhasi. So your transcendental form is always effulgent and beyond this material nature. So many of our these Mahajanas glorified that form of the Lord that does not belong to this material world. But in our material experience, we think that, oh, this person has left his body. Okay, it could be like that. They may immediately compare that. So for that purpose, Prabhupada is describing elaborately. So Tyakshan is very significant in relation to Lord Sri Krishna's leaving his body. He is the eternal form of existence, knowledge and bliss. And his body, his self are identical. And here in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Saunikaji sages were there, even they have got idea. They were asking Suta Goswami, Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmanye Dharmavarmani Swam Kastam Adhnopete Dharmah Kam Sharanam Gataha. Once the Lord has went to his spiritual abode, where does this Dharma took the shelter of? Then Krishne Sudamopakate Dharma Jnanadibhisaha Kalu Nasud Rishamesha Puranarko Adinoditaha. The Lord has appeared in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam with all the Dharma, Jnana and everything embedded within the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this one, wherever the Lord goes, this knowledge, bliss and everything go Dharma Jnanadibhisaha. Everything will go with the Lord. He is for they're all at eternal associates of the Lord. Even if we just give them eternal form to the knowledge, eternal form to the bliss, eternal form to the everything else. So this is they're all eternal associates, and he is eternal. And therefore, how is it possible that he would leave the body and disappear from the vision of the Lord? So it is not possible. So there is a great controversy among the non-devotees or Mayavadis. Sometimes they Yo Vyakti Bhautikam Deham Krishnasya Paramatmanaha. So some people they think that Krishna's body, then they are it is mentioned in the scriptures that any Brahmanas or anyone who is thinking that Yo Vyakti Bhautikam Deham Krishnasya Paramatmanaha Sa Sarvasmat, so there needs to be Sa Sarvasmat Bahishkaryaha. They need to be rejected from all the activities of Srautasmartha Vidanataha. From speaking about the Lord and also performing any spiritual activities. Such kind of activities that needs to be from those activities, such kind of people, whatever whether he is a Brahmana, if he thinks that he is Krishna's body is material, such kind of persons are not allowed to do such kind of spiritual activities because they don't have knowledge. That kind of yajnas or sacrifices or mantras, they do not give any result. If you see such kind of persons, then Sachelam Snanam Achare Tasyava Mukam Avalokam Sachelam Snanam Achare. If you come across such kind of people in your life, you need to take bath with your clothes as it is and put water on top of your body. So that is mentioned in the scriptures. That is the non-devotees or the Mayavadis about mystery. They cannot understand. This is Tvayashta Bhavad Avishuddha Buddhayaha. Tvay Ashtabhavad. They do not have proper intelligence. Avishuddha Buddhayaha, impurified intelligence. Okay, so, and the doubts of those men with poor fund of knowledge, this is Avishuddha Buddhayaha, have been very elaborately cleared by Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krishna Sandarbha. And also, Prabhupada is bringing in from the Brahma Samhita. So here, just one thing, when Krishna was able to expand himself into so many forms, and then even for an unintelligent person also kindly, he does not need intelligence. He can just leave one form and then he can go back to he can take everything else. So it's just in a form, even though there is no intelligence at all, he could think like that. Okay, but here Prabhupada is giving to root out everything. There should not be any single particle of doubt. According to Brahma Samhita, the Lord has got many forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. There are Anantarupam, many forms. It is stated herein that the Lord has innumerable forms, and when he appears within the vision of the living entities, as Lord Krishna actually appeared, all such forms amalgamate with him. All forms they are amalgamate with him. This one we could see practically in the Shri Brahmavaita Mahapurana, Sri Krishna Janmakanda. So Krishna was speaking to Lord Brahma about who are all going to be taking birth on the earth to accompany the Krishna's pastimes. And that during that time, Narayan has come to that assembly and he entered into the body of Krishna. Again, Vishnu has come to that assembly, he entered into the body of Krishna. Later on, Krishna was saying, so I will be in the Vrindavana. Later on, by my Amsha, Narayana, he is going to carry out the pastimes of Dwaraka. So there Lord clearly says in that Brahmavivarta Mahapurana, Narayana is going to carry out the activities in the that is the Vasudeva, that form is going to carry out Dwaraka pastimes. So that there Lord clearly says everything. But here Vishnu has entered into the body of Krishna and Narayana has entered into the body of Krishna, and then Krishna is going to appear. So all these forms, all the forms of Krishna, they entered into, they will accompany Krishna in his pastimes. So besides all these infallible forms, they're all infallible again. So all Vishnu Tattva forms, they are infallible. Deepachirevi dasantaram abhipetya deepayati vivrita hetu samana dharma. They're all samana dharma, just like a first candle lights so many other candles. So likewise, there is no, once all candles are ignited, there is no difference. But the first candle is Krishna. So this is again from the Brahma Samhita. They're all infallible forms. He has his universal form as manifested before Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And here in this verse, the word spitam is also used, which indicates that he left his gigantic universal form called Virata Rupa. So Virata Rupa, it is the material form. So sometimes when we were describing in the 10th chapter of second canto, there Sukadeva Goswami describes about the universe and the universe excel, and then Lord has coming to the Virata form, and then there from the legs demigods appear, from the hands demigods appear, and then from all his body all different demigods appear, and along with the demigods their functionality also. So like from the mind Lord Chandra appears, and from his intelligence Brahma appears, from his ego Lord Shiva appears. Likewise from the feet Lord Hari appears. Hari is the it is again different thing, like I think possibly Kshirodak Sai Vishnu. So likewise, different forms of the Lord were appearing from the Virat Rupa form of the Lord. And Agni, from the mouth Agni. So likewise, that is the Virat form. And he was describing many other things else. So likewise, what we have got our material body here, if we that can be compared with our material body. Virat, our material body is also like that, which is made up of Panchabhutas, Bhumira, Punalo, Kamano, Buddhire, Ahankariti, Yemi, Bhinna Prakriti, Rastara. This is the Virat Rupa form. Virat, in the sense, it is the material form. And of course, we also have got a spiritual form. We have got the Swarupena. This is, but when we are completely cleared of this Sthola Rupa and Sukshma Rupa is also mind. Sthola Rupa is the Bhumirapo Nalovayuhu Kham Manobuddhir Evacha Ahankaram. These three are mind, intelligence, and the false ego. These are the subtle body. Once these are completed, Yadarhitamatmanam Bhutendriya Gunasayehi Swarupena Mayopetam Pasyan Swarajyam Ruchyate. Once we are cleared of these material things and free from three material modes of nature, we again retain our original form, the spiritual form. At the moment, we are covered due to the Kama Yesha, Krodha Yesha, Rajoguna Samudbhavaha, because of those desires. The basic thing is the desire. When we are freed from all those desires, as soon as this material body fall down and cleared of the subtle body also, we get our original form, spiritual form. Swaruped Mayopetam Pasyan Swaradhyam Ruchyate. In that spiritual form, we go to the Vaikuntha Loka, back to Godhead. Okay, so that is, first of all, here Prabhupada is describing universal form called Virat Rupa, not his primal eternal form. So when the living entity itself it has got the eternal form, and here Prabhupada is describing this is for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because there is hardly any possibility of his changing his form of Sachidananda. This simple understanding is at once realized by the devotees of the Lord, but those who are not devotees, who perform hardly any devotional service to the Lord, either do not understand this simple fact or purposely raise a controversy to defeat the eternity of the transcendental body of the Lord. This is due to the defect called cheating propensity of the imperfect living entities. So this is one is the imperfect senses tend to cheat, make mistakes, and fall into illusion. So these are the four defects of the living entities. So due to that, they cannot understand. So this is the cheating propensity. They wanted to defeat the eternity of the transcendental body of the Lord. And also by practical experience also, it is seen up to the present day that Lord's transcendental form is worshipped by devotees in different temples, and all the devotees of the Lord factually realize that the form of the deity in the temple is not different from the form of the Lord. That's why Lord always says that worship me, manmana bhamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Unless there is a form, how can we offer our obeisances? Madhyaji mam namaskuru. So namaskuru means we need to have a form of the Lord. That's why Lord says madhishna darshana puja suti abhivandanaihi bhuteshu madbhavanaya satvena asangamena cha आध्यात्मिक अनुश्रवणात् नाम संकीर्तनाच में आध्यवेन आर्यसंघेन निर्हंक्रिया तथा. So likewise among the devotees association talk about the Supreme Lord and chant and glorify Krishna and Arjavena. This is the Arya Sanghena, devotees association. And then go to the temple, Madhyasna Darshana Puja Stuti Abhivandanaihi Bhuteshu Madbhavanaya. Bhuteshu, and we need to see the Lord in all the heart of all the living entities. Satvena Asangamena cha, but without any material association. That is the form of the Lord. It is eternal. In the temple we go and then immediately we will keep our hands folded. Baddhanjalim prashri namrakandharam. Baddhanjalim prashri namrakandharam. Very humbly we fold our hands and then pray to the Lord. Unless it is the eternal form of the Lord, how it is possible for us? So it starts that thought in the heart of the living entity to keep the hands folded. Okay, so this inconceivable performance of the internal potency of the Lord is described in the Bhagavad Gita. Naham prakashaha sarvasya yogamaya samavrtaha. So I would not reveal my form. Naham prakashaha sarvasya. I do not reveal myself. And then because yogamaya samavrtaha, it is conceived by yoga or covered by the yogamaya. Mudoyam, this is for the foolish people. Mudhoyam na bhijanati. And the Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. So again here, Ataha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhavet grahimindriyehi sevarmukehi jihvado swayameva spuratyadaha. When one is engaged in the devotional service, the Lord He Himself reveals personally to that devotee. But otherwise, no one can understand with his senses. Na bhavet grahimindriyehi. So starting from Sri Krishna Namadi, starting from Nama, his form, qualities, and activities, everything, no one can enter into his pastimes unless there is a devotion. So the name and form of the Lord cannot be perceived by the material senses, but when he appears within the vision of the mundane people, he assumes the form of the Virat Rupa. This is an additional material exhibition of the form and is supported by the logic and subject and its adjectives. So generally, we describe there is a main subject and then there are so many adjectives and adverbs are added, but subject does not change. For example, we have got, okay, again taking Krishna and Krishna's temple, Krishna's devotional service and everything. It is so beautiful and it is so nice, and then it's very nice fragrance is coming. Even though if you take out everything, all adjectives, but Krishna is still there. So this is This is even in the grammar, when the adjective is taken away from the subject, it modified, does not change. Subject does not change. Similarly, when the Lord quits his Virat Rupa, his eternal form does not change. His form is eternal. Sachidan Ishwaraha Paramaha Krishnaha Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. He is the source of everything and cause of all causes. So although there is no material difference between himself and any one of his innumerable forms, so that's why Goloka University Akilatma Bhuto. Again, that's why even though he is in the Goloka, he knows what is happening in the all heart of all the living entities. Tam Jiva Karma Padivim Anuvattamanaha. And in the fifth canto, it is described that where the universe is created, how the existence about the Bhumandala. Bhumandala is divided into 7 islands and 7 oceans. The central part is the Jambudvipa. Again, within this one, 7 islands, how the Lord is worshipped. Jambudvipa is the middle one, which is the smallest one, whatever the planet we are living in. There are other 6 planets surrounding us. They're all in the form of the circles. They're in the form of the circles, and also oceans are also in the circles. In the Jambudvipa is in the middle. And Jambudvipa again, it is divided into 9 varshas. Bharata Varsha, Kim Purusha Varsha, Ilavata Varsha, Bhadra Varsha, Ketumala Varsha, likewise, 9 varshas. So in the Ilavata Varsha, Lord Shiva worshipped the Supreme Lord in the form of Anantadeva. In the Bharata Varsha, we worship, that is the land we are living in now. So we also worship the Lord Hari. I think in the Kimpurish Varsha, Hanuman worships in the form of Ramachandra, like that. So in each Varsha, and there is other Varsha where Prahlad worships in the form of Narasimhadev. So likewise, in the Bharat Varsha itself, we are doing, and in different islands, all the living entities, they worship worship the Lord in different forms. Again, the scripture is given about details of given of each and every other planets, other dvipas, other islands. What kind of trees are there? What kind of rivers are flowing there? So that we would see in the 5th canto. Okay, so in different, even now, and how he is worshipped in different temples of this earth also. So here also we have got so many temples in India. In again, ye yatamam bhivartante puryoho bhagavataha priyaha tastanti vaikunte tattat lila bhamadhrutaha. And Lord manifest all those his Vaikuntha planets in the form of temples here in this planet to perform or to carry out his pastimes with his devotees. Okay, so again, further, Prabhupada is describing here, Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur have elaborately explained this incident of the Lord's disappearance in their commentaries, quoting various authenticated versions of Vedic literatures. So otherwise, if everything is included, the book will become very big. So Prabhupada already described here in the Bhagavad Gita. So what it means, the Lord deserves the right of not being exposed to everyone. So he always keep himself out of the vision of the non-devotees. The only devotees only can see it. Bhaktya mama vichahanati. Non-devotees, they are devoid of love and devotion. And thus, he puts them still further away from the Lord. Again, they will be covered by the ignorance. There's two kinds of ignorances. Throwing illusory energy, covering illusory energy. Throwing means they will be very far away from the Lord's knowledge and his form and everything else. They do not hear the name also. That is throwing illusory energy. Covering illusory energy, even though they are nearer to the Lord, their knowledge is covered by the so many of materialistic things. They cannot understand the Lord. Okay, so the Lord appeared on the invitation of Brahma, who prayed before the Kshirodak Sai Vishnu, and therefore, when the Lord appeared, all forms of Vishnu amalgamated with him, And when the mission was fulfilled, all of them disintegrated from him in the usual course. So again, they went back to their original positions. So Narayana and Vishnu and Krishna, everyone. So this is Krishna's pastimes. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, we also see that Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhara, Srivasa, and also Nityananda Prabhu's children. So there also mentioned like incarnation of Kshirodak Sai Vishnu. Nityananda Prabhu is the incarnation of Balaram. Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu. So we also see that they're all accompanying Krishna. They're all, and then there it is. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is nothing, who is none other than Krishna himself. Na Chaitanya Krishna Jagati Paratatvam Paramiham. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions who is nothing but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna. यद्दद्भैतं ब्रह्मोपनिषि तदप्यस्य तनुभा या आत्मन्तर्यामि पुरुष इति सोषांश विभवः षडैश्वर्यः पूर्णो येह भगवान् स स्वयमयं न चैतन्यात् कृष्णात् जगति परतत्त्वं परमिह. So whatever is called Brahma, which is the effulgence of the Lord, and whoever is called Paramatma, who is the expansion of the Lord's one of the Amsha, that Paramatma is also one Amsha. Shadaishwarya Purno, Shadaishwarya Purna, the Bhagavan, who is of the six opulences in complete. Shadaishwarya Purno, Eha Bhagavan, Saswayam Ayam. He is the personally, Na Chaitanya, Krishna, Jagati Paratatvam Paramiha. He is nothing but, he is none other than our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the same Krishna, he has appeared here. So Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami mentions in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, first chapter. Okay, this is all. Whenever Lord appears, all his entourage accompanies the Lord to perform his pastimes. And then when Lord goes back to his abode, and again all of his entourage goes back as usual in the usual course. Okay, likewise, Prabhupada is elaborately describing. So these are all came because of the Chakchandehim Achintayat. Now Krishna's family is now disappeared. Whenever Parikshit inquired about that, why Uddhava was only remained, then Sukadeva Goswami started speaking. Brahmashapa apadesena kalena amogavanchitaha samhritya swakulam spitam chakchandehim achintayat. So this is the desire of the Lord, amogavanchitaha. The similar thing whenever the four Kumaras, Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara, they went to the Vaikuntha Loka. There also the Lord has said the same thing, that the whatever the sapa you have given to my Pashvada, Jaya and Vijaya, this is by my arrangement only. It is, there is no, even though it appears that you have cursed, but it's sapo mayaiva nimitaha tad avet vipraha. And they will be cursed like that. It was already previously decided by even goddess of fortune. Yetat pureva nirdhishtam ramaya kurdhaya yada purapavarita dvari vishanti mayuparate. Likewise, Krishna has arranged everything. Whenever Krishna has arranged that, it is under supervision of the Lord. No one can do anything there. Even Brahma also says to the demigods that because it is the arrangement of the Lord that Jaya and Vijaya will be taking birth as the Hiranyakshipu and Hiranyaksha. So at the moment, I cannot do anything. It is under the jurisdiction of the Supreme Lord. And then demigods, they will go and they are also glorifying the Lord and his devotees. They went back to their abodes, demigods. So it is all, everything happens on the desire of the Lord. Amogavanchitaha. Okay, that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, we shall move to Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. Okay, so today letter to Aditi, September 29th, 1970, India. So can I request any unallocated devotee to read this letter, please? Gauringi Mataji, would you like to read, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My dear daughter Aditi Devi Dasi, please accept my blessing. I beg to uh, thank you for your letter dated from London. You are a very formal goal to uh, have come in connect with our Krishna consciousness society, and I am so happy that you are tasting a drop of the um, nectar of devotional service to Lord Krishna. If you simple um, continue seriously following this program of um, regarding proposing Islam, I cannot see properly. Yeah. Rendering living service to the Lord, your life is sure to become soon filled with happiness and joy in Krishna's service. I have duly uh, chanted the beads sent by you, and I am glad to accept you as my um, inter. Sorry, Prabhuji, I cannot see. Yeah. Mm, wait. Can you mark for me? I lost my. I use from mobile. That's why it's a disappear. Prabhuji, what is that? Can you mark for me, please?
So you're reading this one, Mataji. You can read from the.
Okay, yeah. Sent by you, and I am glad to accept you as my intended disciple on the recommendation of Srimad Garudasa, Gauradasa. Your initiative name is Aditi Devi Dasi. Aditi is the name of the mother of the demigods. Please try to learn this Krishna since perfectly well, and that will give ultimate meaning and perfection in your life. Please follow very carefully the four relay. Yeah. For mm, Prabhuji, how can I pronounce
restrictions.
restriction of no eating of meat, fish, or eggs, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no taking of any kind of intoxication. Chant at least 16 rounds on your beats daily without fail, and avoid the 10 offenses in the matter of chanting the holy name of the Lord. They are blaspheming the Lord's devotee to considering the Lord Krishna on the same level with the demigods, or assuming that there are many gods, three neglecting the order of the spiritual master, for minimizing the authority of the um, scriptures. 5. Interpreting the holy name of God. 6. communicating scene on the stage of chanting. 7. Instructing the glories of the Lord's name to the unfaithful. 8. Comparing the holy name with mundane piety, something probably. 9. Uh, Intention well chanting the holy name. And 10. Attendment attachment to material thing will engage in the practice of chanting. Uh, um, okay. Study our um, literatures with the help of your senior god brother and sister. Go on Sankirtan when possible. Take special care to remain always engaged in some Krishna conscious activity. Chant Hare Krishna mantra always and be happy. I am very pleased that you are so sincerely and humbly trying to surrender to the uh, in, instructions of Krishna and your spiritual master. This is the prime qualification of a devotee. So, maintain fine extended and advance in Krishna's uh, living service. Hope this will meet you in a good health. Your ever will wisher, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Uh, P.S. Your bids are written by separate airports along with those of Srimati Lalita Sakti. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I
Jaya.
read very mistakenly, Prabhuji. Sorry about that.
You did very nicely read, Mataji. Thank you so much,
Some
Mataji.
words I pronounce mistake, Prabhuji.
And that's all right, Mataji. You did very nice. Thank you so much, Mataji. Any take points, Mataji, you wanted to add in this letter?
Yes, Prabhuji is Prabhupada saying very important things, many things. Then we use every day this. Prabhupada wrote this letter. We need to. This is for all of us, I think. Then if this letter give us many things, many advice, then we can do that one for every day or our life. We use this one, then very useful. Prabhupada saying that. And her daughter new name, I forgot her name, for her. So this is a very important letter, Prabhuji. I think that many things is mentioned about here for regulator principle and how to chant. Then other 10 um, I don't know this 10 words. What is this? All of I cannot say properly. So you mentioned Prabhuji again. Prabhupada mentioned this. Then you explain Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Well, I explained very nicely. Okay, thank you so much. Any other comments, dear devotees, from this letter? Thank you, Mataji. want to add any takeaway points, Mataji, from this letter?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I think this Mataji, I mean, the way Prabhupada addresses his disciple, like, my dear daughter, Aditi Devi Dasi, I mean, you can understand that he had such a loving relationship with her. Like she used to be in the cooking service, and also later after the Brahman initiation, she used to do deity cooking as well. So they had a nice relationship, and after so basically she's getting initiated, and Prabhupada, I think we can understand it was a Ritik initiation, because Prabhupada was maybe at some other place, maybe in Calcutta, and he sends the chanted beads, and writes elaborately on the regulative principles, that the restrictions we must follow, and the 10 offenses, clearly. So we have seen that he has done it like to all those who got initiation when he was physically not present, through one of his disciples. Then he used to personally write them letters and mention all the important Vaishnava etiquettes, and the what are the different aparadhas, the offenses, and he mentioned, he explains the meaning of his name, like Aditi. He was the mother of the demigods. So and every time Prabhupada gets anybody initiated, he always mentions that it's a science. Like Krishna consciousness is a science, and the Krishna, if you learn the Krishna science perfectly well, and that will give ultimate meaning to perfect your life. So our material life, we are separated, plenary portions of the sparks of little sparks from Krishna's body, but we are wandering in this Brahman without any purpose. We don't know what we are meant to do, but Lord gives. But when we surrender to the lotus feet, Lord gives us this and gives us the intelligence to and learn the Krishna science perfectly. So when we understand the Krishna science perfectly, then it gives ultimate meaning to a life and perfection. So when so basically that's the main message I get, of course, apart from the regulative principles and the offenses he mentions. But this sentence, it really struck me, that he said, if you understand the Krishna science perfectly, our life will be perfect. So when we take Krishna's name, holy name, we chant without offense. That's very important. And that was not only a letter to her, Mataji, but as Gorangi Mataji mentions, it's a very important letter for us also, because all these are expected from us as well, that we follow the relative principles and avoid the offenses, and then only we can understand. It's really basically, why does he call it science? Because it's experimented. It's not an hypothesis. It's a hypothesis, but it's experimented, and there's a result. Like that's what science is. Like you give a theory, and we do an experiment when we get results. So Krishna consciousness is a science, Prabhupada mentions, because this has been experimented time and again. So those who chant perfectly without offense, they get that purity, and when they're engaged in devotional service, they perfect their lives. So it moves like a cycle. So that's the main message, Prabhu. So rest of the letter, of course, Prabhupada has given the 10 offenses, which we go through every day. So yeah, and yeah, and then he says that the study of the literature, like if we try, because these the Srimad Bhagavatam translation and the purpose that Prabhupada has done, he has not only just translated the Bhagavatam like that. Of course, he has translated, but he has given the purport after reading all the Vedic scriptures. So he has done the hard work of doing that. So, but those Vedic scriptures are quite difficult for us. We might not understand everything on our own when we try to do on our own. So he said, you do study the literature with the help of our senior god brothers and sisters. So that is important, that we learn and read. Of course, we do our swadhyay, we do our self-study, but at the same time, we learn and study in the Association of Devotees. So that gives us more meaning to the literature. It can make more sense. We can make more sense of what Prabhupada is. Even like, the Krishna's disappearance, the way you explained the purport. And Prabhupada has explained so much in details from Brahma Samhita and different books that he has given, that Krishna's disappearance, how non-devotees and the Mayavadis take it like it's just leaving of any physical person. It's not that. So all these the deep nectar of this literature is there in the purport. So that's why it's important that we learn in Association of Devotees, and of course go to Sankirtana movement to spread the holy name as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted, in every town and village, and always remain engaged in Krishna conscious activity, chant Hare Krishna. So yeah, Prabhu. And humbly, Prabhupada lastly praises that he is very happy that how you have humbly trying to surrender to the instructions of Krishna and the spiritual master. So taking the instructions seriously and sincerely acting on that is very important. So these are the prime qualities of a devotee. So, and this fine attitude will help us in the always engaged in the loving service of the Lord. So yeah, nice letter, Prabhuji. So thank you for asking me to say a few points. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Very beautifully described. Okay, so, and also one point here, the 10 offenses Prabhupada mentioned here. These are all unknowingly, sometimes we may try to commit mistakes, not trying, but unknowingly it happens. Blaspheming the Lord's devotee. So, this is one thing. And sometimes, okay, if you do chant, then we will get so much of pious credit, something like people think that. But these are all offenses. So it is not the karma kanda. So this is what Prabhupada says. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Vedas deal with the three material modes of nature. If you do this one, you will get this one. If you do this pious activity, you will go back to the heavenly planets. You will enjoy. You will drink Somrasa, and then you will enjoy that for a long time, 10,000 years. But this is not karma kanda. So this is, we are in the Krishna kanda. It is upasana kanda. So everything we engage ourselves. This is as per the Pancharatriki Vidhi and also Bhagavata Dharma. Bhagavata Dharma deals with the hearing and glorifying the Lord's pastimes. That is one thing, Bhagavata Dharma, Pancharatrika Vidhi. That is the following the rules and regulations in the deity worship from morning to evening. So we are following, taking both into Bhagavad Dharma, Pancharatrika Vidhi, both into one embedded system. In Krishna consciousness, we are very stronger than any other society in this spiritual path. So that's why we have to follow these instructions. At inattention while chanting the holy name, and this is also few things are mentioned. We need to rectify these things if there are anything happening in our day-to-day life while chanting. Attachment to material things while engaged in the practice of chanting. There are few things but which cannot be avoided, but we are trying to be devotees. We are not yet devotees. We are trying to be devotees. That chanting, it will gradually purifies us. Okay, so thank you so much, Mataji. Very beautifully described, Garingi Mataji and Sanjita Mataji. Okay, any other comments, dear devotees, you wanted to add to this letter?
Inattentive chanting means like what we have to remember.
Inattention while chanting the holy name. So that one comes like the ninth one. Inattentive while chanting. It is an offense. So inattentive means sometimes we may be doing so many other chores and then chant, and then chanting a few times, and then immediately looking at, oh, what is happening in the kitchen, and then chant, oh, my husband is doing that one, oh, I need to go and do that one, and then again chanting, continuing it. Of course, sometimes we don't find time in our life, but this is Yannamani Gruhnati. This is sorry. This is Yasyavar Gunakarmani Namani Yeshu Vigame. Just unknowingly also, if we chant, there is lots of benefit on it. But if we just focus with attention, so there Tvam Dehatantraha Prashmaya Papanam Swadeha Bhaj Yenna Tvam Dehatantraha Prashmaya Papanam Yasyavatar. This is again what is that one? Devahuti Mata describes in her prayers to Kapil Dev that devotees, they glorify your name. Unknowingly, they will get so many benefits, but if they're focusing with the attention, then this comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Let me just show those things. So it would very enlightening prayers of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a very quick thing. Third canto, chapter 33, sorry, 32, in the shlokas 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this one. Okay, so here in this one, Sukadev Devahuti Mata describes. I think yeah, it is the 34. Atapyuntah Sarvesayana. So in her prayers, this is the fifth shloka, the sixth one. Here she mentions Yadnamadhyaya Sravananuketana Yat Prahavanad Yat Swarnadapi Kvachit Swadopi Sadhya Savanaya Kalpate Kutaha Punaste Bhagavadnu Darshanan. So that means to say nothing of spiritual advancement of the persons who see the Supreme Person face to face. Even a person born in a family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifice. If he once utters the holy name of Supreme Personality of Godhead or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offer him obeisances, or even remembers him. So here, Kutaha Punaste Bhagavanu Darshanan Swadopi Sadhya Savanaya Kalpite. Even the Swadopi, Swada is the a Chandala. Even he is getting Savanaya Kalpite. He is eligible to perform the sacrifices. What to speak of Kutaha Punaste Bhagavanu Darshanan? What to speak of the persons who are engaged in the devotional service? So this is stressing the devotees, that is giving attention to the devotional service. When we are chanting, we need to give that much focus. And further she says that Aho bata swapachot ato ghariyan yajjhvagre vattate namatubhyam te pustapaste juhuhu sasnurarya brahmanucho nama ghunante yete. Again, this is oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name, even if born in the families of dog eaters. Such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. This is all just by chanting. So Prabhupada here is mentioning that giving the focus, how important it is to give attention to the chanting. So one should not make any offenses. That is, that inattention while chanting is the one of the offense. It comes when we know the glories of chanting a Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Once we know that, we understand that if I am making a offense or not, immediately he understands. Unless it is a devotional service, we do not be diverted towards the materialistic activities from chanting. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada. Like material attachment. I know we don't want to be material attachment, but sometimes just a mind comes that is offense, isn't it?
Yes, sometimes it comes, but it is not that we do purposefully, because the material nature, the karmana daiva nature is always observing us what is there in our heart. According to the desire of our heart, one, it may orchestrate the activities that you have got a material importance to sometimes to bewilder us, and the based on our desire in the heart. If we do not have any material desire, then nature arranges the activities like all our spiritual things. So the divine nature always sees, the Lord sees in the heart, and activities are orchestrated accordingly. But because we are materially embodied, we need to follow this vidhi bhakti as much as possible in due course of time. But once the material duties are slowly, gradually succeeded, then we attain that real devotion. So, for example, if you are taking the retirement from the material duties, then I got lots of time. Then I engage more and more. Likewise, it will only increase, develop. But the materialistic point of view, people who are not in devotional service, their body is going to be declined. They're always suffering. Still, they wanted to enjoy more sense gratification, but body is not cooperating. So many diseases are attacking. Families are not cooperating. Children are not listening. Or grandchildren. So many problems. They will suffer with so many things, and gradually their distress gradually increases. I'm coming nearer to death. I don't know what happens if I die. So that is the materialistic point of view. But a devotional point of view, it is always blissful. Oh, I'm coming nearer to that finishing of my material activities, going back to Godhead. Likewise, he prepares himself. That is the spirit devotee's perspective. At the moment, we simply carry out as per the Vidhi Bhakti as much as possible. But clinging onto the devotional service, clinging onto the Sangha and temple to the deity service as much as possible. But do not leave, do not go away from the devotees association or service of the Lord at any point of time. Okay, so those are the scriptural injunctions. And Prabhupada stresses that one. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Okay, so if you're all happy, then we shall move to the next part of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have been discussing the Vaikuntha pastimes. There is a few 2 shlokas left in the Vaikuntha descriptions and how Jaya and Vijaya were cursed. Okay, so from the announcements point of view, so today evening we have got Bhagavad Gita, and our Gaura Sangha speakers are going to speak on verses. Okay, so today Gayatri Mataji and Jaya Mataji are going to speak on Bhagavad Gita. So hope looking forward to hear. Okay, and then tomorrow London Rath Yatra. Hope devotees are going to gather there to see Lord Jagannath and associate devotees and to have nice prasadam. Okay, so that is tomorrow. Okay, so for now, dear devotees, if you have got any other updates, kindly share. Otherwise, we shall move to the next part, Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 16th chapter about Vaikuntha descriptions. Okay, we shall move here. So we have been discussing on the 35 shlokas. So Lord, in the Vaikuntha, after Lord spoke to the Jaya and Vijaya, saying that now, Yatam ma bhashtu astusham. So now you leave this Vaikuntha planet. Brahma teja samadopi hantum neche matum tumi. Oh, Jaya and Vijaya, now the curse of the Brahmanas, it has it is now my arrangement. Now it is also my desire. It is matam to me. It is my desire only. So even though I can counteract this Brahmana's curse, but I don't want to do that. And later on, this Jaya and Vijaya, they gone to this material world At that time, Tada Vikunta Deshina Tayoho Nipatamanyoho Hahakaro Mahanasi Vimanagreshu Putrakaha. And all the devotees of the Lord in their airplanes watching from the sky in the Vaikuntha planet, they made lots of hahakaras. Oh, Jaya and Vijaya, they're falling down. Kind of a bloop. Oh, this devotee has fallen down, something like that. So even though one devotee is progressed until so many long years, 50 years of devotional service engaged, but later on, for little sense gratification, he fall down from the sannyasa too. So that kind of thing. So here, Jaya and Vijaya has been eternally with the Lord. But now, for a small thing by the Lord's arrangement, this is also Lord's arrangement. But in the devotees thing, it is only Lord only supervises everything. It is a lesson for everyone else. With taking one small thing, he wanted to teach everyone else that how dangerous this material world and the attraction to this, the fairness of this material world. Yasmin yada pushkarina bhamaya dhurantaya spushtadayah pradabdhushah. It is very difficult sometimes to conquer this duddhantendriya kala satpa patli proktata damstayate. It is but again vishwam sukham purnayate and vidhi mahendradibihi mahendradi mahendradisha kitayate. And Brahma and Indra and so many other people just like a small insects. When yat karunya kataksha, this is about describing the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yat karunya kataksha. There it is described the devotion when we are engaged in the devotional service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All this Kaivalyam Narakayate, Tridishupuhu Akasha Pushpayate, Duddhantendriya, Kala Sarpa Patli Proktata, Damstrayate, Vishwam Sukum Purnayate, and Vidhi Mahendradisha Kitayate. So likewise, Prabodhananda Saraswati, he gives, who is the uncle of Gopala Bhatta Goswami. Prabhupada used to. So there is it is the Chaitanya Chandramrita. In that one, there are few shlokas. Prabhupada used to quote that one. It is Duddhantendriya. So just I'm stressing, the Indriyas are very difficult to conquer, but in the devotional service, they're just like a poisonous serpents. The fangs are removed. When the devotees are engaged in the devotional service, they do not disturb him too much, like other materialistic people. So otherwise, okay, so going into different things. So that is devotional service. But if Lord is trying to say something, so something it would happen for the example. He want to teach everyone else. Okay, likewise, Jaya and Vijaya, they fall down, and then Brahma says to the demigods that now this Jaya and Vijaya, they are entered into the womb of Diti Mata. So this is Taveva hi adhuna prapto Pashada pravarau harehe Dite jatar nirvishtam kaspam tejavulbhanam. They have taken the shelter of semen of Kashyapa Muni and they entered into the Dite jatar nirvishtam. Ditehe jatar nirvishtam kaspam tejavulbhanam. Tejavulbhanam, that semen. This is Pumsa. Striyaha pravishtavadharam Pumsam Retha Kanashreyaha. The living entity takes the shelter of the semen and enter into the womb of the mother. So Ditya Jata Nirvishtam Kasyapam Tejvalbhanam. Now Jaya and Vijaya are in the womb of Diti, or demigods. Likewise, Brahma is saying to demigods now. Further, he is describing here. So now this Jaya, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyaksha are now, who are previously Jaya and Vijaya, they are now in the womb of Diti. Because of that, Diti has kept the children in the womb for 100 years. And because if they come out, they may make a disturbance to the demigods and everyone else. So for that purpose, she has kept for 100 years. During that time, there is a darkness spread in the heavenly planets. So that is disturbing all the demigods. So demigods, so now this is all everything under the jurisdiction of the Lord. It is not in my control. Likewise, there is no further counteractive activity. Likewise, Brahma is saying to demigods. Okay, so this is the third canto, chapter 16, verse number 36. तयोः असुरयोरध्या तेजसा यमयोर्ह्यवहम् आक्षिप्तं तेज एतर्हि भगवान् तद्विहित्सति तयोः असुरयोः अध्या. So of tayoho, of them, asurayoho, of the two asuras, adhya, today, tayoho asurayoradhya, today those two asuras, tejasa yamayoho hivaha, tejasa, by the prowess of yamayoho, of the twins, hivaha, and certainly of all you demigods. Akshiptam teja etarhi, akshiptam, that is agitated, tejaha, the power, etarhi, that certainly. Bhagavan Tad Viditsati, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Tat Viditsati, he desired to do so. He desired to do. So likewise, that's why you are just feeling that kind of agitation from the darkness. Likewise, Brahma is saying to demigods. Tayoho asarayoradhya tejasa yamayohivaha akyaptam teja etarhi bhagwan tad viditsati. So can I request any devotees to read the translation and purport, please? Any volunteer devotees? Yes, Mataji, please.
It is the province of these twin asuras, demons, that has disturbed you. It has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power. However, for it is the Lord Himself who desires to do all this. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Vijaya. Also, Hiranyakasipu and Hiranyas, formerly Jaya and Vijaya, became asuras, the demigods of this material world, could not control them, and therefore Lord Brahma said that neither he nor all the demigods could counteract the disturbance they created. They came within the material world by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he alone could counteract such disturbances. In other words, also Jaya and Vijaya assumed the bodies of asuras. They remained more powerful than anyone, thus proving that the Supreme Personality of Godhead desired to fight because the fighting spirit is also within him. He is the original in everything, but when he desires to fight, he must fight with the devotee. Therefore, by his desire only were Jaya and Vijaya cursed by the Kumaras. The Lord ordered the gatekeepers to go down to the material world to become his enemies so that he could fight with them and his fighting desires would be satisfied by the service of his personal devotees. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so now I request the devotees. So you kindly describe what Prabhupada has explained here. So you know the mood of Prabhupada. So any explanations on this one? Jai Mataji, Sanjita Mataji wanted to give any light on this purport.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I'm not very good, but from what my understanding is that Jaya and Vijaya, when they were cursed to become asuras, then they caused havoc everywhere, and the demigods were very disturbed by it. So they came to Brahma to bring some order to this, because he was the creator. But Brahmaji said that he had no power, and it would have to be the personality of Godhead who would be able to bring balance to all these disturbances. And because the Lord wanted to have a fight, it was his way. That is the reason why he sent Jaya and Vijaya, so that they can create havoc, so then he can have a fight with them. So because that was his desire, that he needed to fight, and he wanted to fight with a devotee, and Jaya and Vijaya were ultimately devotees of the Lord. That is my understanding. I'm not sure. Thank you. I think Sanchita Mataji would do a better job.
Very beautiful, Mataji. You did very nicely. Yeah. It's so pleasing to the devotees describe about the Lord in those pastimes. Thank you, Mataji. Sanchita Mataji, would you like to add, Mataji?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, Mataji has very nicely, sometimes I speak more words, but Jayaved Mataji has briefly summarized it, Lord's mood. That's what his mood was. So they say not even a leaf moves without the Lord's desire. So it's basically on the Bhulok because when he's at Vaikuntha, it's I'm not, I mean, maybe it's an offense to use the word monotonous, but of course, everything is in order, everything is in Satogun. Um, everybody is doing the prescribed duty. So Lord is not having much fun, but he's he's a Leela Purushottam. He wants to always do some pastime, some Leela, and give, so that when we read all these stories in Srimad Bhagavatam, so it's a books of his pastimes, his Leelas. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam is all about. And his most precious, important instructions are given in Bhagavad Gita. So, and with different devotees or demons, we see the different pastimes, how even a devotee becomes like Jar Bharat, and how he forgets Lord and gets the body of a deer. And I mean, that's so similarly, like here also, Jay and Vijay were the perfect doorkeepers. So I mean, there was hardly should be any chance. They have been doing that duty eternally, so there was hardly any chance they should do mistake. And it was not even a big offense, but it was Lord. He gave that to make that pastime happen. He somehow in the mind of the Kumaras, four Kumaras, he just bewildered them, and they got angry, because if you think from the Jaya and Vijay's perspective, Lord was resting, so it was like he, even enough, if you like to try connect it with a material life. If somebody is resting, we will try. If it's a family, somebody's coming on the door, we say that maybe can you come later, or if somebody's calling, can you call later, something like that. So Jay and Vijay, what they were doing was rightfully right, but of course, because Lord wanted to have this pastime of fighting desires, fulfill his fighting desires, so they he made the four Kumaras get angry, curse, and then we know the rest. So they got the demoniac body. They came here. They were so powerful, and of course, how would then, of course, there were so many other demons who were killed by Ma Durga Devi, Ma Kali, and there were so many other demons killed by other demigods. But for the Lord, why has the Lord made them so powerful? Because Brahma had given them this benediction. So especially Hiranyakashipu. So such was his austerity. Hiranyakashipu, when he asked, he asked for all those conditions in such a way, like, I cannot be killed by weapons or a human or an animal, or daytime or nighttime, not in the inside nor outside. So he asked all those conditions to make his clause, like his death clause, in such a way that nobody can kill him. So not living in his mind, he thought that was the best thing he could ask for. Like one way we see, like Hiranyakashipu, he asked for such things so cleverly, but other time, like when Ravanasura and Kumbhakarna, they were going to ask for their boons. Hiranyakashipu Kumbhakarna forgot what he had to ask. And then he asked, Lord Brahma asked Ma Saraswati to sit on his tongue and then say something gibberish, and then he could not ask what he was meant to ask, and he asked, like, can he sleep for 6 months and eat for 6 months? So that was something. Lord made him do like that. Similarly, Hiranyakashipu, he asked for the perfect, conditions so that he does not ever die, become immortal. But when and then he started creating havoc on planet Earth. So everybody was like trahi trahi, like they became so powerful that nobody could defeat them. So for the Lord to come, it has to be like he can be only summoned when the other devatas, they cannot tackle him. So he was such a big, huge form, and then so much atrocities and so much and and then also, like, when we see the sweet pastime, Prahlad and Lord's pastime, it's Narasimhadev pastime, it's one of the most sweetest, I think, in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And though he knew that the Lord, when he's coming, he will be also, of course, to kill a demon like Hiranyakashipu, he will be coming even in a more ferocious form. So if he's coming in that ferocious form, then of course he's in his Leela, he's very, very angry during that time. So to pacify his anger, all the demigods, even Lakshmi Devi, nobody, his consort, nobody could pacify him. So he had, like, Prahlad Maharaj was there, like his pure devotee, like 7 years old, and he could pacify the Lord. So to glorify Prahlad, basically, so Lord is Bhavagrahi Janardana. So he's like always in control of his, in one of the the forwards in the group, I saw, like, how can you buy Krishna? Like, Krishna is still, of course, nobody, we cannot bind him, but Ma Yashoda could bind him by love and devotion and her endeavors. So all the devotees, all the pastimes we hear, they could bind Lord by the bhakti, by the love and the unconditional love. So Raganuga Bhakti. So Lord can be only, like, he is in our control by bhava. So it's an unconditional love towards him without any material desires, transcendental love, that is. So Prahlad Maharaj had that, even though he was born in a demonic family. So to pacify his anger, he came, and then after the killing of Hiranyakashipu was over, and to cool down his anger, when nobody could do it, Prahlad Maharaj could do. So then when we read all these stories, we hear, like, Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking, like, one time that this, I think he was, who was it asking? I forgot whom he was asking, but did this Prahlad Maharaj story, Hiranyakashipu story, and then when this was, I think Narad Muni, I think he was asking to Narad Muni, this pastime was narrated to him. So that was again, so everybody, to us it has come after so many years, but of course these leelas happen in the Satya Yuga, and Yudhishthira, the Pandavas, the Mahabharata happened during the Dwapar Yuga. So there was many millions years after that. So even Yudhishthira Maharaj is hearing this pastime of Bhakta Prahlad, so glorifying of the devotees. So we see, like, how the Lord has done his pastimes, just not, of course, here it writes fighting desires. He could fight, and he has got the fighting desire to satisfy. But what does it say? Would be satisfied by the service of his personal devotees. So Lord is satisfied by his devotees. So after everything is over, he glorifies Prahlad Maharaj. So that's what I feel. I can understand Prabhu. So basically, he does all these pastimes. So finally, glorify his devotees, and so that these are all become the scripture. And when Srila Vyasadeva, he wrote all the Vedas, the Puranas, the Upanishads, everything, but he was not satisfied. Why he wrote so many things, but he was not happy. Why he was not happy? Because he had not glorified the Lord. So when Narad Muni asked him to write the pastimes of the Lord, then only he felt the nectar. So that is, that's how we get the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Puran. After doing that, so all these stories are all about Lord, even Gajendra, Kunti Maharani, whoever, like Brahma aspires to the Lord. All his devotees are glorifying the Lord. So that is one perspective of understanding. If he cannot, from the Bhagavad Gita, sometimes if a person is not a devotee, it's difficult to understand because there are difficult instructions. If you just hand over the book to somebody, they might not understand what is the conversation going on. But when it's read in perspective to the Srimad Bhagavatam, then we understand the perspective that how great the Lord was in every aspect. All the six qualities the Lord has, he was perfect. And then only then it's easier to understand the Upadesh of the Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Then it makes more sense. That's all, Prabhu. Sorry, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, so nicely explained, so beautiful.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes, it is so nectarian, Mataji, to hear from the devotees. So bliss.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, nothing is prepared. Whatever comes into my mind, I can see the pictures and just speak. So, yes.
Very
Not
beautiful,
very
Mataji.
organized,
Yes.
but yeah. Sorry, Mataji.
Yeah, very nicely, Mataji. Very beautiful.
We just try to be instrument. It's the Lord who speaks through us. So that's what I feel. I was doing something and then suddenly Amoga Prabhu asked me to speak, so I was not prepared. So whatever came to my mind. But yeah, that's the most, that's the context I get from this purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that nectarian descriptions and realizations. So here, for example, in a home, the father and children, they wanted to have a fight, but there, so for example, the children are of nearly around 14 years of age, and they're just, the energy is coming to, the strength is building up within their bodies, and they will feel some kind of inspiration to do something. At the same time, father takes the opportunity to fight with the children. So because he desires, and he will make like the children. For example, son and daughter, they are going on the other side and they're trying to hold their hands and push each other. Who will, of course, father is strong enough, but he wanted to show a little bit less, so that the children also feel experience that happiness, and also father also enjoys. There, intelligence does not come into the picture. Brahma does not come into the picture with the happiness of the Lord and his devotees. So that is the relationships, how we can understand in the analogy of the material, in the family and relations. So here the Brahma is saying that Achiptam Teja Edarhi Bhagwan Tad Vidhisati. It is not in my control because Lord wanted to do it. So here, Jaya and Vijaya, they are taking in the opposite direction to fight with the Lord, to give pleasure to the Lord. When on the other day, Sankirtan Pedas Prabhuji was sending one of the Kadambakaran Swami Maharaj's books. There, one of the book, it mentions that it is forever present in the first shlokas. As soon as I just read the first few shlokas, then the Lord says that Muhutena pi samhattum Sekto Yediapi Danavan, O Lakshmi. So I can kill all these demons. Muhurtena api samhattum. In a moment of time, I can kill all of these things. Sekto Yadjapi Danavan. But do you know, even the moments of time I can kill, but Madbhaktanardham, without Madbhaktana Vinodardham. And to give pleasure to my devotees, Madbhaktana Vinodardham, Vinodha, for that purpose. Karomi vividaha kriyaha. I perform so many different pastimes, like appearing as the Lord Narasimhan, fighting with Hiranyakshipu, appearing as Varahadeva, and then fighting with Hiranyaksha. These are Madbhaktanam Vinodardham. Otherwise, the Lord in such a, he nourishes all his devotees. Darshana dhyana samsparshaihi masya kurma vihingamaha swani apathyani pushnanti. So these are all my devotees. Apatnyani pushnanti. I will nourish them like the a masya kurma vihingamaha, like a fish, like a turtle, and the bird by their activity of darshana, dhyana, and samsparsha. By those activities, they nourish their children. Swani apatnyani pushnanti. They will nourish their children. Tataham api padmaja. Similarly, Tataham, in similar way, I also nourish my devotees, O Padmaja, goddess of fortune. Likewise, Lord speaks very, very beautiful things, right, in the Padma Puran. So this is what when Prabhupada is describing here. Although Jaya and Vijaya assumed the bodies of asuras, they remained more powerful than anyone, thus providing the Supreme Personality of Godhead desire to fight because the fighting spirit is also within him. He is the original in everything, but he desires to fight. He must fight with a devotee. A father will have a fun fight with only children, not with a family of other children. So in a similar way, he wanted to fight with his devotees. Therefore, by his desire only, were Jaya and Vijaya were cursed by Kumaras. The Lord ordered the gatekeepers to go down to the material world to become his enemy so that he could fight. Then the fighting, his fighting spirit desires would be satisfied by the service of personality, personal devotees. Okay, so this is so beautiful to hear, understand the mood of the Lord. All his pastimes, when he appears, like if the father sometimes when on the stage there is a Narasimha pastimes are happening. Some children are given some kind of you act as Prahlad or you act as Hiranyakshipu like that. And one of the devotee, you act as Narasimha Dev. So one of the child was in the Hiranyakshipu and the other person was like a Narasimha. And as soon as Narasimha comes with roaring, this Hiranyakashipu runs away, feeling like it is so beautiful. He thought that it is any real Narasimha. And then the child ran away. Of course, he was mocked in the stage, but later on, he was immersed or completely absorbed in thoughts. That child ran away from the stage, back into the again backside of the stage. It is very fun to see. But here, whenever Lord performs these pastimes for the Madbhaktana Vinodardham, for the happiness of his devotees. Okay, so that's why even Brahma, we know that it is not Bhagavan Viditati. Brahma says that it is not in my jurisdiction, it is in the Lord's jurisdiction, it is Lord's desire. Okay, just it is my simple reflection. Any other comments, dear devotees?
Prabhuji, I was just thinking slightly that how fortunate this family must be that the Lord came at least three times to this family in different incarnations. One as Lord Varahadev, and then Narsimhadev, and then Vamandev, for just for this family. So it must be just amazing.
Yes, yes, very beautiful realization, Matas. And Vamanadev, he remains within that Bali Chakravarti's door god. He again associating always with Bali Chakravarti in the Sutala Loka, Vamanadev. Though Vamanadev taken birth as the Aditi Mata, as the son of Aditi Mata, but he is now always staying with the great grandchildren of Diti Mata. And how long this Vamanadev associating with Aditi Mata, and how long he is associating with the Bali Chakravarti, who is great grandson of Diti Mata. So again, just a kind of thoughts. Of course, everything is stands until when it comes in contact with the Lord. So, but we see Ditimata's children, this is Hiranyakshipu, Hiranyaksha are killed. Again, later on, Prahalada was his great son, his grandson, and his great grandson is the Bali Chakravarti. Bali Chakravarti's father, Virochana, and he was also on the request of demigods. He has given up his body, material body. So he is also pious. He is also devotee of the Lord. He gave on the request of the demigods disguised themselves as Brahmanas, and then so they were asking something. His body, he gave up. So that is glorious of this Prahlad Maharaj. One person in a family devotee, and everyone becomes the most fortunate. So that's why we do not ask any material things when the Lord. But even Dhruva Maharaj was mentioning whenever the Lord has appeared to Dhruva, and Dhruva he did not ask later on, but Lord knows the desire of the Dhruva, why he has come to the forest and meditating at the time. But after Lord has fulfilling the desire of Dhruva Maharaj and gone, Dhruva Maharaj was thinking that. अहोबत मम अनात्म्यं मन्दभाग्यस्य पश्यता भवच्चिदः पादमूलं गत्वा याचे यद antavad. So I have asked only which are temporarily things only, which will be destroyed in due course of time. He was thinking that how foolish I am. Anatmyam, anatmyam. So in the materialistic thoughts, mandabhagyasya pasyata, look at me. I am a mandabhagya. How unfortunate I am. Pasyata, look at me. Bhajjadaha padamolam. The Lord can give the liberation if we take the shelter of the Lord. Gatva yache yad antavat. So, but I have asked which is again temporary things in such a way, but here he mentions the demigods have spoiled my mind. Matihi vidushita devaihi patadbihi asahishnubihi, because demigods they are envious about my austerities and they have ruined my mind. Like Sanchita Mataji saying that Kumbhakarna was asked different desires from the Lord Brahma. Likewise, here in the case of Dhruv Maharaj, he is also contemplating and then lamenting that Matihi Vidushita Devaihi Patadbihi Asahishnubihi. They could not tolerate because of greediness or something like that, because of Dhruv Maharaj's thing. Likewise, Dhruv Maharaj contemplated whether demigods have ruined my mind. I have again asked this kind of thing, which is of temporary nature. Matihi Vidushita Devaihi Patadbihi Asahishnubihi. यो नारद वचस्तत् यो नारद वचः तथ्यं न ग्राह्यम् असत्तमः न ग्राहिषम् असत्तमः. So I did not take the instruction of Narad Muni, but Narad Muni was saying that, oh my dear child, don't take the words of your stepmother seriously. You go home and then do something like that. And Narad Muni has given all the instructions later on. But there, Dhruv Maharaj, of course, he was thinking that I did not take the words of Narad Muni, a great devotee of the Lord. I did not take them. See, demigods have ruined my mind. Likewise, Dhruva was contemplating. Okay, like Kumbhakarna was, he was also, his mind, his intelligence was also deviated by the demigods. Otherwise, he would have something different. So that's why later on in the future, whenever he grown up and he took the kingdom and ruling during the time when he was fighting with the yakshas at that time, Kubera has come there and then asked him that I am very impressed with you, O Dhruva, and so I wanted to give you benedictions. Then he was mentioning Harehe Savavro Achalitam Yaya Smritim Yaya. That is the only desire here. I do not want to forget the Lord at any point of time. I wanted to remember the Lord. That is the only desire he asked. Okay, so this is just was thinking about Sanchita Mataji's demigods are deviating the mind of Kumbhakarna. Likewise, here, Dhruva was also contemplating on that point. Okay, so just what a little thought came into the mind. Yes. Jai Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhuji?
So yeah, just I'm contemplating on the. So you have mentioned how fortunate this Diti
Oh, yes. Yeah.
family. So if there is one devotee, all his family will be glorified. Just remember the Lord all the time. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Any other comments, dear devotees, you wanted to further add? Okay, so that is from this particular verse. There is one more last verse of Vaikuntha pastime. It is the conclusion of the 16th chapter. So there, Brahma, he mentions that Lord he will only protect us. So we just need to pray to the Lord. That is the only thing we can do. But due to the time, we don't enter into the new verse again this week, maybe next week. And then after this shloka completed, we go into the Brahma Samhita. Okay, so dear devotees, if you have got anything to share, kindly share. Otherwise, we shall conclude for today and continue with further japa. Gauringa Mataji, we have not heard you, Mataji, on this particular shloka, so you may share.
No, Prabhuji, sorry. Mataji explained everything mentioned and very nicely. Sanchita Mataji and Jai with Mataji. I cannot explain, Prabhuji, sorry about that.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, I think there is one more paragraph in this shloka. I think we have not, did we cover this paragraph?
No, we didn't.
Would you like to read, Mataji?
Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahma showed the demigods that the situation created by the darkness for which they were disturbed was the desire of the Supreme Lord. He wanted to show that even though these two attendants were coming in the forms of demons, they were very powerful, greater than the demigods, who could not control them. No one can surpass the acts of the Supreme Lord. The demigods were also advised not to try to counteract this incident because it was ordered by the Lord. Similarly, anyone who is ordered by the Lord to perform some action in this material world, especially preaching his glories, cannot be counteracted by anyone. The will of the Lord is executed under all circumstances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Any time reflections from this purport, Mataji?
I think Sanjita Mataji covered this more or less anyway, that nothing moves without the will of the Lord. Even though they are very powerful, even though those attendants were very powerful and no one could control them, it would only be the Supreme Lord who would be able to control them. So I think she more or less covered everything. I don't have anything else to say. Yeah, and I think also similarly the glories as well, that anyone who wants to, preach his glories, no one can be, they can't be stopped because it's the will of the Lord. Yeah, and I think it is, the Lord gives them more strength and more knowledge day by day so that they can speak and spread the word of the Lord more and more to other people as well.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji. Any other Sanchita Mataji want to add anything, Mataji?
No, Prabhu. Mataji has nicely summarized some of it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So here Prabhupada is mentioning that Lord's desires cannot be checked by any other thing. So likewise, preaching Krishna consciousness, Hare Krishna movement cannot be checked by anyone. So this is desire of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is, will of the Lord is executed under all circumstances. Srila Prabhupada, Gauravani, Gauravani Pracharini, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarini. Namaste Saraswati Devi. Saraswati Devi, Gauravani, the sound of Gaura, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Pracharini. So he's preaching Pracharini, Nirvishesh, Shunyavadi, Pashatya Desh. That cannot be contracted by anyone. The will of the Lord is executed under all circumstances. Okay, so here sometimes Brahma showed the demigods the situation created by the darkness. It happens number of times in the past times of Hiranyakshipu also meditated, and also later on once he come out of the womb of Diti, and also Dhruv Maharaj meditated, Arjuna meditated. When the meditation happens, these things happens. The darkness goes into the spiritual planets because of the spiritual power. And also here in the womb itself, darkness has spread. We can understand how powerful this Hiranyakshipu and Hiranyaksha, they are directly the associates of the Lord. So, for example, if there are two personalities, powerful personalities in the government, the prime minister, the servants of the prime minister, they are coming to some particular village, and if they're following the instruction of the prime minister, it is good. If they're by proud of their strength and power and then doing something like that, then it will be havoc. No one can check them. Everyone are afraid of them. Okay, so likewise, Lord here. Whenever the demigods went to the Lord above, because of Dhruva Maharaj was meditating, it was disturbing them. They went to the Supreme Lord and they prayed for help. At that time, Lord also says, "Ma bhaishta bhalam tapaso dhritya nivattayishye pratyata sudhama yeto hi vaha prana nirodha asit autana padir mai sangatatma." Because of that, this is the meditation of Dhruva. My Sangatatma, he is absorbed completely into my nature. My nature, he was mentioning, Adharam Mahdadinam Pradhana Purusheshwaram Brahmadarayamanasya Trayolokasha Kampire, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of everything. Here, Dhruva has kept that Lord in his heart. Dhyain Bhagavato Rupam. In such a way, Dhruva has meditated, and then that darkness spread, and the demigods were afraid, and then they went to the Lord. Lord asked them that you leave, I will go and I will stop Dhruva Maharaj's meditation. That is one thing. And here, again, Hiranyakshipu and Hiranyaksha, they are the associates of the Lord. They are in the womb of the Diti Mata. So powerful. Sanchita Mataji wanted to say something more.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yeah, sometimes theoretically and through the scriptures, we understand everything what you're saying. That these two lines make sense. That especially the last line, that especially anybody who is like ordered by the Lord to perform actions in this material world cannot be counteracted by anyone. But whatever you explain, we understand. But when we see, like in Bangladesh, ISKCON, like when Chinmay Prabhu, this Chinmay Chaitanya Das, I think his name, Chinmay Krishna Das, yeah. So, how he's still in prison just for nothing. He didn't do, they said they blasphemed their flag or something. It was nothing serious, but they just wanted to put him in prison, and it's been nearly almost a year he's there. So it's the country of Yavans, of course, but he was still trying to do his duty. But I cannot connect how, I mean, it cannot be counteracted by anyone. But we see, they do not have any proper case against him. Yeah, so he was released, I think, a couple of months back. He was discharged by the High Court, but now the other party, they have taken his matter to the Supreme Court, and they're putting more charges which are false, and he's kept in prison. So I don't know how it sits. That I know maybe that is also Leela of Lord. He wants to show something, but other devotees and people, or I don't know whether GBC, GBC, of course, we see ISKCON, there's mostly, they do things for ISKCON, for devotees, they in their own group. But if you think of that Prabhu, ISKCON even disassociated themselves from him, that they said they don't have anything to do with him, what he was preaching and all. But he was, if you hear some of his lectures, I mean, he was trying to unify all the Hindus together, put everybody together so that they stand together against the Muslims, and because otherwise it's a country of minority Hindu anyway. But still, I don't want to bring anything here politically, but I mean, even ISKCON, so senior devotees, they must have their own legal wing and all, but they're not able to fight or do anything for that Prabhu. So that really breaks the heart. He was in a different country, we have Srila Prabhupada, so many disciples, they went to Russia, they went to China, they went to Pakistan. One of them, when they went to Pakistan, he was hit, then he was called back. Prabhupada said, come back, your life is more important. But now we don't see such things happening. Nobody is, even ISKCON is hardly bothered about that Prabhu is being in the prison for so long. So I mean, we still see that they're counteracted and nobody is able to do anything. So I don't know what Leela Lord is doing and how we can connect to this one, but just wanted to mention that. Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I again, like you, I don't know much about the politics either. All I'm hoping or praying for is that while this Prabhuji is put in a really difficult and sad situation, which was not even his fault or anything, I'm just hoping that at least while he's there, he's spreading the message of Krishna, even with the prisoners while he's there, and continuing to preach the glories and maybe making an effort. And even if one person changes while they are in the prison, that would be something. And you know probably as well that Nelson Mandela was in the prison for no crime of his own, for nearly, 26, 27 years. And when he
23
came
years.
out, he had Bhagavad Gita with him, and he knew everything about Bhagavad Gita, and that is what saved him as well. So we just pray that, I don't know what, like you said, Lord's Leela is with this particular case, but we just hope that he gets the strength more and more to carry on in there while he's been put in this position.
Yes, Mataji, I mean, hope Lord listens to our prayers. And yeah, you rightly said, we have other people also. Nelson Mandela, he was there for 23 years, fighting for freedom, as a freedom fighter. And this proposal, his health was not very good. He was suffering from liver, kidney problems. So I don't know what kind of treatment he's getting. But of course, as a devotee, they do spread message even in the prison. We have heard such stories even in Russia. So many devotees, from Patri Prabhu, he mentioned in one of his lectures, I don't remember that Prabhu's name starts with A, I think. He spread them within, even in the, the salt bread. When he was in the prison, he on Janmashtami, I think, the bread they were given, they made beads. They used to make them into circles, and then made a bead out of it, and then they offered, I think, for Janmashtami, because they didn't have anything to offer for the Lord. So we hear amazing stories from prison. like, of course, devotees doing amazing things. We understand that, and I can connect. But when we say there's no counteract, but there are people who come in the process. I know they will get karma, and they will also, like, for torturing a devotee, they will have to come back to so many lifetimes and all that. But when you see suffering for devotee, it hurts. So yeah, that's my point. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Lord wanted to do something. So sometimes one of the devotee, he was arrested and went to the jail. There he was preaching Krishna consciousness in the jail, making all the prisoners who are there in the, they were very fortunate to hear Krishna Katha and glorifying. They're all benefited by this chanting and devotee. So those pastimes are manifested inside the prison. These things would come out once the devotee comes out and then share all these things, and the other people, they will reflect who are the prisoners at the time accompanying that devotee. If they come out and they will spread, that is how glories of the Lord will go. Otherwise, demons are there throughout this entire world. Wherever we go, all are demonic people. Yeah, they do not have one particular purpose. But this, with regards to the flags and the nations, this is not the devotional service, because devotional service cannot be contaminated bringing the flags or this green flag or orange flag, something like that. It is not related with this. So, and at the same time, devotees following the rules of the country, at the same time preaching Krishna consciousness without any obstacles. So that would make our path very easier. So we do not complicate our preaching. Okay, that is also one thing about devotees to remember. But sometimes where there can be soft corner, there we can go a little bit further, but not without violating the rules of the countries wherever we are based on time, place, and circumstances. But we can go without harming anyone's sentiment. There we can stretch ourselves.
Prabhu, I understand, but they are false charges, Prabhu. I think if we'll never find any videos of like he blaspheming because in that flag,
Yes.
national flag. But it's he. These are, I mean, mostly false charges to somehow bring him down. So
Yeah.
that's the most difficult bit to fight, because they don't have proofs also. Because they don't have proofs, so he's not being discharged, and they don't have anything solid to put him into life imprisonment or something. So he's just hanging in between. That is the difficult time.
Yes, Mataji, that hanging itself, it stretches, then all of the time is spent there.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
General people take that one as an advantage and misuse the government rules and processes. That is not right. Yeah, devotees, they do not make any mistakes, but sometimes demonic people, they're looking for advantage, how to disturb the devotees. The more crucial people. So Prabhupada was mentioning, naturally, who are the Mlechas and Yavanas, naturally they are the enemies to the Brahmanas and the cows. Naturally, they are the enemies to the Brahmanas and cows. So Brahmanas and cows, they are the root of the Sanatana Dharma. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya, Jagaditaya Krishnaya, Govindaya, Namo Namaha. But who that is the demonic nature, it is purposefully it has created in this material world, that Mlechas and Yavanas, for a particular purpose, spreading entire world with all the demoniac, dark-minded people, the enemies of the Brahmanas and cows. We see this is none other than only the demons only. Otherwise, devotees of the Lord, they are kind to all the living entities. Of course, we cannot, how this age of the Kali, it's not possible for us to kill it. That's why in this age of Kali, only Harinama Sankirtana, only Kalu Papa Hatan Naran. This is Lord only spoke to Vyasadeva saying that Kalu Papa Hatan Naran. I would appear in the form of a devotee. I will spread the Krishna consciousness. Okay, so likewise, We need to spread this Krishna consciousness just going in our capacity. But purity is the force, books are the basis, and then preaching is the essence. Okay, thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so hope the Lord is going to protect us, and of course we do uh, our bit devotional service as much as possible. Thank you so much, Mataji. So if you're all happy, then we shall conclude and continue with our further chapter. I think Jaya Mataji's mobile is switched off, it looks.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for explaining your relation. Yes, these are the demons of Kali Yuga. So they always are after the Brahmanas, and especially the Yavans. Their main thing is like everything do opposite what the Brahmanas are doing, what Krishna is doing. So Krishna loved Brahmanas, so they hate Brahmanas and do find just small faults to make a big thing, mountain out of molehill, and then just punish and all. So yeah, I mean, we can only pray in our capacity. We know, as we understand, this is all Lord's Leela. Maybe, as you mentioned, we have to work in a capacity, the country's rule and all, whatever what is possible. Once Indradumna Maharaj was once saying that when he went to Russia, he did not go in dhoti and kurta, he went in shirt and trouser, and in his suitcase he had a wine bottle, so that they think that he's a normal, even he's like second initiated devotee, and Prabhupada was alive at that time, but he still had the wine bottle, just to trick these people, so that they have no doubt that he is a devotee who's coming to spread Krishna consciousness. But Russians were even more stricter. Airports and all, they anyway doubted the mission. They had so many narcotic tests and all that on devotees. So he went like that. He said, Jasmin Dese Jadachar. So if it's like, just go as a karmi, and then go wherever possible, secretly spread the mission. So Lord shows us that, if you're living in a country which has got difficult rules, then for all other devotees, it's a message that we have to do things but cleverly and not in open if it's not allowed and things like that. So that's a learning as well. So yeah, Prabhu, thank you for highlighting that point. Hare Krishna, and let's all please say 3 loud Hari Bols before we conclude to Prabhu. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari
Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hari Bol to all the dear devotees. Garinge Mataji, Shah Mataji, Jaya Mataji, Mataji, all glories to all of you. You're all pure devotees of the Lord and always hear Bhagavatam, Krishna Katha, and speak and reflect. Okay, it is nice to hear devotees, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, so we shall conclude. पञ्चकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
अनंत
वैष्णववृन्द की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Hare
Krishna conscious day, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री